early aircraft are the fact that they blended not only creativity, but a tremendous amount of personal courage to actually develop a vehicle and to put an engine in it, and to realize that you would be simply detaching yourself from the Earth's surface and flying through it at potentially great personal risk.
That same day, remarkably unshaken, Santos visits his balloon makers and orders a new airship. He would call it Number 6. His new airship underway, Santos finds time to host one of his signature social events. The aerial dinner party. A sumptuous feast, served on tables and chairs, elevated 7 feet in the air. It is a party as unique as the man who gives it. His guests are often celebrities and royalty, and they love the uplifting experience of dining in the sky. October 19th, 1901, just 2 months after his terrible crash, Santos confounds everyone by taking to the air in his new ship, Number 6. As Santos approaches the Eiffel Tower, thousands of Parisians gather. And when the timekeeper announces that Santos and Number 6 have set a mid-flight record, awards Santos the Deutsch Prize. At 28, Santos has realized the dream of flight.
What he demonstrated with that, truly, was that the era of the practical airship that could make repetitive flights out and back, where you could take off and have some confidence that you would return to the point from which you started, I think he really demonstrated that the practical airship had arrived.
Santos' historic flight around the Eiffel Tower inspires and challenges aviators everywhere.
Santos Dumont, because of his aerial antics, because he drew crowds, drew a whole new generation to aeronautics. They were inspired by his example, that he was brave enough to do this, that it looked like fun. He was a mentor and an inspiration to other aviators that went into this burgeoning field.
Santos is now the 20th century's most famous aviator and inventor, and he loves it.
He invented himself as a modern celebrity. And then at the same time, you had newspapers where their owners happened to be very interested in aeronautics, and they assigned people to follow him almost on a daily basis. So the New York Herald, for example, and the Paris Herald, owned by the same person, James Bennett, would follow him and have a story every day on his exploits.
Everybody adores the young aviator. He becomes affectionately known as Le Petit Santos. He is so appealing that men across Paris model their hats and clothes after his, even copying the red ties he sports in the air.
He was that legendary figure, 5'4", or something like that, but larger than life at the same time, who just reached out and grabbed the public imagination by the lapels.
For all his public display, Santos keeps his personal life exclusive.
We're waiting for Raphael.
His French aviation contemporaries, Louis
Yes,
Blériot,
he needs to come with something so we can stream. Just streaming has left.
Too, but with little success.
He quickly joins the movement among French aeronautical types. It's just starting to bubble along, this interest in heavier-than-air flight. These guys are learning that, in fact, some really interesting things are going on in America. Especially, ultimately, these two guys, Wilbur and Orville Wright.
At the time, few aviators know exactly what the Wrights are up to, since their flights from 1903 onwards were done in secrecy. Their secrecy has a purpose, allowing the Wrights to protect future patent rights. But as a result, many aviators doubt their claims to have flown in 1903.
For example, Ferdinand Ferber made crude copies of the Wright gliders. They basically didn't work very, very well. And so because they didn't work very, very well, there was all of a sudden this suspicion that maybe the Wrights were not what they appeared. Maybe the Wrights had not, in fact, been successful aviators. Maybe the Wrights were bluffers.
Convinced that aviation's future lays with heavier-than-air machines, Santos is ready to risk his reputation and his life on designing his own airplane.
He was nervous, though, that he wouldn't be able to catch up to these other aviators. So for the first time in his life, he started doing his work in semi-secrecy.
His work?
You know, before that, it was all open. That's because he was leading the pack.
Then Santos starts a collaboration with Gabriel Voisin, a gifted 25-year-old French aeronautical engineer. Together, they create a biplane composed of box kites. It's called 14 bis. The box kite design they employ was invented 13 years earlier by Australian scientist Lawrence Hargrave. With their slightly curved winged surfaces, Hargrave's box kites have enormous lift. This is because curved surfaces have twice the lift of flat surfaces.
Santos Dumont is right up to the minute when he sort of borrows the idea of the box kite for the design of the wing structure of 14 bis.
14 bis has an odd, awkward majesty to it. From his dirigible experience, Santos has the pilot stand in a basket. Like the Wright 1903 flyer, 14 bis has a tail-first structure, known as a canard. The canard made a plane more stable in the air and less likely to crash. Santos also designs the wings with significant upward sweep, or dihedral.
These words could not begin to express it. It's very exciting for me. It's the passion.
Aqui a Aline, minha filha, ela é a piloto do 14 bis.
It does require some practice for the pilot to get completely synchronized with the structure. For rolling and for takeoff, the pilot has to use the right hand while controlling the direction with the left hand.
December 2005. The 14 bis replica is now ready for a test flight. But first, Alan and Aline Kalasa must wait for the Brazilian weather to clear. Fall 1906. Santos, too, is anxious to take